All right, and we're live. I think this is the ninth edition of this weekly call. I could be off by one, um, but we're ready to start. So I don't think we have any other. We don't have any announcements on the agenda. I do have a couple of discussion items, so we'll go straight to that one. So I wanted to check in. Kai touched on a point on the Slack channel about something that the secure group is exploring about having a new feature notification inside of the widgets. And yeah, I have the same question as Kai had. Like, is that something that we're accounting for? Is that something that is it? I don't think it's accounted for the UX framework, that's for sure, because I haven't seen that documented. But it feels like this could be a good test to our like how do groups can extend the UX framework. Does anybody know what's happening about this? I'm guessing not. So I'm trying to think. So Jeremy and Gina, do you know who would be the person behind this effort, design wise? Because all I have is a Loom
Yeah.
video.
Yeah, I don't at the moment, but I could find out. I know that early on, I had explored alerts in the context of the MR widgets, so that's something that I could circle back with. It had some complexity because if we want it to be an actual alert that comes with ARIA Live and like actually notifying a user, so this is more styled like a notice, and so that gets back to different design pattern and intention. So we'd have to kind of circle back on a few things for this. So
Yeah, definitely accessibility here is a point. Having a region would be probably useful. But yeah, so
yeah, depending on the
if you could,
intention, right? Yeah.
right. Oh, right, because then it might be too disruptive.
Yeah.
If
Or
it's
if it,
just like
yeah,
a
if
little
it's not
hint.
even supposed to be like an alert, like, hey, this is, if it's just purely inline content, then that's pretty easy. But then we should address the style if it's going to look like an alert but not behave like it, that kind of thing. So
Right. So again, I think Tim Noah looked at the way that we have the process we have for adding features and stuff to our to the merge request area, and the process that Kai at the time devised involve having the PMs get in touch and that and at least having that sort of conversation with the group. In this case, since we have a UX framework overseeing that part, it would be useful to get that chat. Keep us posted. Feel free to just share it on Slack once you have some feedback. Getting them to jump on the call next week could be useful if they could join. So I'm going to write that down. It might be useful for the designer to join us in the call if they feel it's worth it. Just so that they understand exactly what's the effort that's behind it, what would be the time frame for them to roll something like this out, and maybe even generalize a little bit of the solution, because they might be too specific for their own case. But since we have this effort going on, it might be useful to go in a little bit more broad in how they do it. Okay, I'll leave you to it. Just keep us in the loop if you can.
yeah.
Thanks, Jeremy. And any other thoughts there? Can we move on? All righty. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned the telemetry epic. So where this crosses over with this working group is that there's several merge requests report widgets that are covered by these telemetry areas that we'd like to track. And I know that some of them we saw that it was already done. And the ones that are being rewritten should definitely be rewritten with telemetry in mind, I would say. So I wanted to see, does anybody have any idea? Should we at this point just wait for them to get scheduled? Should we get a little bit more pushy on this? Do we need to provide more information? What's the group's thoughts? Okay. No thoughts, that's a thought too. No worries. I understand that telemetry is usually it's a little bit lateral or tangential related to this group's effort, so that's fine. Scott, to your realm of influence a little bit, do we have plans for the upcoming milestones to rewrite widgets? I know I see that the license compliance widget. Maybe I can share my screen so we can have it on the recording. Give me a sec. So in this, wait, and do you see my screen? Oh, it usually gives me a little notice that I'm sharing my screen, but that it's being seen. Anyway, so this is the epic that is tracking the adapting the new framework to existing widgets. Actually, this is the actual epic. And I see that we have license compliance aimed at 14.6. We currently have 14.5 with Terraform, but the others seem to be not really aimed at anything. Do we have plans on like picking some of them more other widgets up?
Currently, I went through and blocked the ones for testing based on what core issue we're waiting on still.
Okay.
So some of them require polling, some of them require like the level 2 stuff.
Action and stuff.
Yeah. The next one that's the closest one, I think, is metrics, which is blocked by the add support for content sections level 2, which is being worked on this milestone. So it could potentially be picked up next milestone if that is ready.
Yeah, I'm just checking what's the, because it has the milestone, but yeah, it's a stretch. So this might actually not be completed during this milestone. So it might, oh wait, okay. So this might actually only be schedulable, the metrics on the following one. But this is nice. I'm glad you did that, because that way, as we close off the issues, they'll just stop being blocked. I would expect them to be shown here. Sorry, I know that I'm jumping around. I would expect them to show here as blocked. For some reason they're not, but that's useful. But we do are picking license compliance. Is that it? This one here, we're good to go. No, yes, because this one is deliverable, right? And Phil is working on this. It should be closing in. I think it's in late stage of review at this point. So we should close this off on 14.5, get this in on 14.6 while we complete the core support. Okay. A question to this then, license compliance. If we look at the telemetry, we have license compliance here. Shouldn't we schedule these two at the same time and probably even give that to the same person rewriting that widget? As you can see, it's just like basically the expansion. And I think it's more like a declarative thing where you have to create the YAML things and pass that to the core component. So it should be fairly straightforward. Should I put this to 14.6 as well?
I think that makes sense. But the license compliance isn't for group testing. So I don't know. I think it's secure.
Okay.
Is over that. So you have to ask them.
Okay. No, that's fine. This is what I'll do. I don't know who moved it. Nicole. So the product manager did that. I'm going to put here like an FYI. As it seems, we're planning, sorry to keep you watching me, right? But I'd like to do it right away. Planning this for 14.6 might be worth scheduling as well, 14.6. And we can't use aggressive metaphors, and take care of both at the same time. You know what I was going for, right? Two birds. Yeah. All right. And then I'll just CC Neil Carson and Nicole Schwartz. Good. Any nudge that we can do to get these things scheduled, the better. All right. Then at least we have some movement in that area. Thanks for blocking those issues, Scott. That's really helpful. All All right. Any other topics that you'd like to discuss that might be on your minds? Okay. So I think the next week will be the week before the new milestone. So it'd probably be a good time to come in with, let me just check. Right. So in 2 weeks will be the start of the new milestone. So if you have any work that you'd like us to pick up and to push the EMs to schedule something for the next milestone, next week will be a good time to bring them up in the meeting so that we can like have some conversations around that in the following week. But apart from that, I think we're done here. This has been fairly quick. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. And I'll put this up on YouTube available. Bye.
For hosting.
Yeah, you're welcome.